Hallo, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khushamdi. Ji ayanu. Goedemorgen.
Pakhair agale, ni hao, chune shumme, washwale, ohai, genzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suaviab, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very superb, the very amazing, the very fantabulous, the very extravagant. Ladies and gentlemen, she's none other than Miss Shiza Hashmi, and with her, I am Shazad Khan. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you so much for asking. And I feel like I'm one of your guests. The type of introduction that I got, it was just so amazing. Thank you so much for that.
No problem. I think it's perfectly all right for everybody who's out there, who's watching us in 46 different countries right now, all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a good day over here in Islamabad. It's a little sunny. Yeah, we do get confused a little bit whether to take off the jacket or not. So I thought that I should wear it because I'm not really feeling very well as well. Oh. What about you? How do you feel?
I feel okay-ish, but what about, I think this is because of the fluctuating weather we discussed yesterday as well, right? You keep catching allergies and whatnot. And I feel like, Shazad, for us, more than confused, I feel like we are trying to utilize the last moments of winter here in Islamabad and be really happy with them as well. Because I feel like we're into spring already and then it's summer again, which we really don't like. So, well, yes. For everyone out there, be safe because you will be open to and vulnerable to a lot of diseases right now in terms of, changing weather and whatnot. Other than that, Shazad, so this week, what are your plans? Is this week going to be any different for you?
Yeah, but before we move on towards that, I just had a funny thing to relate to what you said, that, that the weather is fluctuating and we don't know what to do. So even last night I was thinking that I actually need to tell my mother to change my quilt into a blanket.
Right.
Because quilt was getting a little more warmer and it was getting a little sweaty. And then obviously, there's this confusion of, keeping your feet under the quilt or out of the quilt. So, yeah. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the weather is such that I actually had to take both of my feet out so that I can actually breathe, and then eventually I had to get rid of the quilt too as well. But then, somewhere in the middle of the night, I thought that it's a little more colder, so I just got back into the quilt. So it was a very funny situation last night.
Right. So it's also fun, sort of, the end of the weather, especially when you're going into spring. It's going to be so beautiful here in the Twin Cities as well. But one thing I will surely miss of winter is, well, warm almond milk.
Oh, well, but you can always have it in summers too as well.
That's not the same vibe. I don't know how to explain it. It's a really different vibe though.
Yeah, well, that's great too as well. But since you've asked me how my week is going to be, I think that from now onwards, I obviously have a few more projects to cover before I leave. But yes, I'm very excited that I'll be globe-trotting. And I think I'll be traveling half of the world this time around as well. I'm taking 17 days off. You guys can definitely miss me a lot as well. But I will be back soon. But yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to. And I don't know. I think probably you can even guide me in this context as well. And that is that, nowadays when a lot of people are traveling, they're wearing those masks as well and they're taking their precautionary steps. Do you think it is important for everybody who's traveling to take these precautionary steps?
I feel like yes, because you don't know, first of all, because of the ongoing thingies, in terms of the viruses and whatnot. Well, safety is, of course, so much better. You don't want to regret it later, right? Better safe than sorry. So there's no harm in doing that. And if you know that maybe your immune system isn't that strong, and if you know you're vulnerable to such things, then of course you must carry a mask first of all. And then, considering and consulting actually your physician as well, the medicines that you require too for in case of emergency.
Exactly.
God forbid that happens, but I really feel like it's a must.
Exactly. So what are we talking about today?
All right, it's something very grave that I feel like we shouldn't really be talking so early in the morning.
Let me tell you in the first place. So I think that, I was reading this article, it was from 2010. And it said Pakistan in terms of population is ranked on number 6 out of more than 196 countries, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that for a place which is so small, we really need to put our heads to it as well. And we really need to stop producing babies just like it's nothing.
We don't have to be baby boomers all over again. But here's the thing, just a few weeks back, I was watching a video from Shazad Roy, which he was in conversation with the family. The guy produced 17 kids, all right, and he forgot the names of his kids. Imagine not knowing the names of your daughters or your sons, or not knowing where they are for the day or the night, not being able to send them to school, not being able to, provide them with clothes or medicines and whatnot. So Shazad, while I feel like it's a personal choice if you want to reproduce or not. But here's the thing, when you're talking about a country so small with limited resources and everything, we have to make do with this, right?
Exactly.
So why does the population need to grow so much that basic health facilities won't even be available to a lot of people out there?
And Shiza, I'm going to second that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a total of 40 million. I mean, these are the figures from 2010. So, obviously, after that, there would have been an increase. I don't think that there would have been decrease, because that's the lifestyle over here in Pakistan as well of people. But talking about that, 40 million people are actually suffering from, you know, high blood pressure, 30 million people from, you know, heart diseases. You know, then there's 20 million people from some other diseases as well, from cancers and what communicable, non-communicable diseases. Not just that, 50 million people are not mentally fit. So, you know, imagine that all of these people are ill all over Pakistan, and we do not have resources to manage that. And I know that early in the morning it is a very sad thing to discuss, but yes, eventually, you know, since they are our citizens, we really need to have to look after them as well, which is why, you know, there's this surprise, ladies and gentlemen, which is coming your way. So there's this documentary for 5 minutes, watch it, and when you guys will come back, you are definitely going to applaud the Prime Minister of Pakistan for the kind of services he's providing to all of those people in the remote areas as well. Let's take a look. Good morning.
Let's do it.
Pakistan, the world's 6th most populated country. It's one of the world's developing countries with just 1.9% growth rate. 30% of its approximately 200 million population lives in the countryside. But the development doesn't mean much for those who live there. And of course, living in the countryside isn't as easy as we think for the people of Pakistan. Despite the increasing population, inadequate health facilities are a challenge there, threatening the lives of many people. In the Pakistani countryside, where the majority of deaths occur due to illnesses and injuries, many sick children lose their lives simply because they cannot reach health services on time. Thousands of people like Nasiba are devoid of the many health services they need.
ये गोट में पैदा थी माँ जी जिंदगी इस गोट में मुश्किल है असांजे ये गांव में कम जाम है ठोका रखण जो टाइम ना है बिना घणा ॾींहं खां बीमारी शुरू थी है असांजे गोठ खां सरकारी अस्पताल परे है अस्पताल जान लाए को असां कन ज़रियो ना आहे बीमार थियण खां असां ना वॾी मुश्किलात थिए थी जे कम न करां त असां ना वॾी मुश्किलात थिए थी मुंहिंजा 5 ॿार को स्कूल जाए तो संभालण ला 4 ॿारनि ला मुश्किलात थिए थी मुंहिंजे ॿारनि ला संभालण ला तबियत मुंहिंजी ठीक ज़रूरी है
In the Islamic Development Bank, we have been making many investments that could develop and improve the welfare level of Islamic countries and Muslim communities since 1974. Our mobile clinic project, managed in partnership with the King Abdullah Foundation and IHH Humanitarian Relief Foundation, provides protective and curative health services to a large population facing difficulties in accessing health services. The design of our mobile clinics enables access to various places, especially the rural areas, all the while ensuring that the clinics have all the necessary equipment for patient diagnosis and treatment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this is very reassuring for people living in very remote areas as well. And not just that, I think that this was need of the hour too as well. The idea was conceived by the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan. And now we're in the first phase of it. It was released in 2009, it was launched or inaugurated in 2019. And yes, so I think that we really need to be in conversation with people who are part of this team as well. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who's actually the head and support of coordination in Pakistan Mobile Clinic Project. He's none other Mr. Ghulam Muhyiddin. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam and good morning, Shehzad.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you, and alongside him, ladies and gentlemen, we have somebody from a brother country, Turkey. He's none other than Mr. Mujahid Kilik. He's the field coordinator, Pakistan Mobile Clinic Project. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. I am fine. I hope you are fine as
Absolutely
well.
perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. But let me get my conversation started with Mr. Ghulam over here. So, sir, how was this idea conceived in the first place? Why was there this need to conceive such an idea? And why mobile clinics? Why not proper clinics at proper places?
Thank you. Thank you, Shehzad. First of all, I would like to thank Pakistan Television, our national TV, to give this opportunity to bring our all ideas in front of the nation and to the public. Basically, as you mentioned earlier, our Prime Minister of Pakistan is committed to provide the quality health services on the doors of Pakistani nations, and for this these struggles and the things are going on. What I'm going to tell you about this unique idea, because why I'm telling you that the unique idea is that the first time it is launched within Pakistan to bring this mobile clinic for the people who are living in remote areas and who do not have open access to the government hospitals or the nearby health facilities, I mean, even in the area which is not fully developed by certain reason or maybe neglected by some of the reason.
Okay.
Then this mobile clinic is basically, as it's mentioned, that it's a mobile clinic, so it moved to the doorstep of the people, like in the country. So this mobile clinic normally is sponsored by the Islamic Development Bank. We are really grateful to the Islamic Development Bank, who really are taking a very great initiative within Pakistan. And although Islamic Development Bank is doing so many projects in this country, but particularly the significance of this project is that it's working on the basic primary health of the people of Pakistan to improve their quality and the health facilities even in the country. So the funded by the Islamic Development Bank and support by the King Abdullah Foundation, and this is not only for the Pakistan. Islamic Development Bank have its own initiative targets for the 7 countries, and Pakistan is one of the country among all these 7 countries. And in other countries we have like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we have Yemen, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and India. These are total 75 mobile clinics that will come to the final conclusion. But in Pakistan, it is decided in the first phase we will go with 8 mobile clinics, and for the in second phase the 7 more will come to Pakistan. So initially we are now the 8 clinics are deployed, and 6 are our clinical containers and the 2 are surgical containers. And we are working in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in the remote areas where the people have less facility and less approach to the government hospitals or some dispensaries or basic health units like this. And the same on the 2 districts of Sindh. That's one of the district is Umarkot, and the second district is Tharparkar. So that's like how we are moving. The response is tremendous response coming from the people. The people are getting benefited. Even in the area, we are so proud to offer these all services free of cost to the people who never thought even to think to get some a small relief from any
well, that's great and superb, and we're definitely going to dig in deeper as well. But Shiza right now, ladies and gentlemen, has got a very important question to ask.
Absolutely. That's actually brilliant, because Shehzad, if you remember all the health shows that we've spoken about, we did discuss that we do need mobile clinics are the need of the hour, because when we're talking about vulnerable segments of the society, like women or like children or like elder people who do not really have the access to go to private or even public clinics, this is the answer. From what I have read, you guys are offering primary health services along with diagnostic services. You tell me what else is on the list for people to,
what kind of diseases can be treated with such mobile clinics?
Right. And are we also going to curative procedure as well?
Yeah, Mr. Mujahid.
Brother Muin has a proper answer for this question.
If you talk about the primary healthcare, then the primary healthcare mean the elements which comes under the primary curative and the small diseases, which is like the people who were suffering from small diseases in their area where they couldn't find any resources or couldn't find any suitable place even to go for diagnosis, or for small things. For example, if we have number of stories and number of incidents what we found in the area when the people were suffering from small diabetes or small blood pressure, like even they were not aware about that one, how she or he are feeling like that. And the first time when they approached this mobile clinic, when the mobile clinic approached on their doorstep, they arrived, they get themselves, they went to the doctor diagnosed. The first time he or she they know that yes, I am with the diabetes. And what is diabetes? Then the staff is there to give them awareness, to give them like on a daily basis, because when they arrive there, it is not only only the treatment which is going on, but also the team which is deployed over there, they are also giving them awareness to just to stop that, because we believe on that. Instead of curative, why not to go for preventive measure also.
Exactly.
So the awareness is also the part of this mobile clinic project. Yes.
Okay.
And let me just move on to Mujahid Sahab over here. So now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, I think Mr. Mohiuddin Mr. Ghulam has actually given us quite a lot of information about it. But since you are the field coordinator, and it obviously needs to be approved by you, which particular areas are you going to look into, or probably the mobile clinics will be going to. Now, how are we deciding that, okay, 4 districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 2 districts of Sindh? Is it based on the kind of research we have got that there are more sick people or more people suffering from cholesterol or other diseases? Or can we even call the mobile clinic to our doorstep? Or is it just the mobile clinic appearing in front of us, and that's the time when we are going to get a chance to get ourselves treated?
First of all, I want to thank you all for
you.
having us to introduce our works and introduce our mobile clinic project here. We have actually selection criteria of those districts.
Okay.
First, we actually makes research about the districts, regions, about the facility of the health and population of the area, and also roads also are important for us, because as you can imagine, we are moving such a huge containers.
Right.
So roads also must be proper.
Yep.
So we actually select those districts with the collaboration of provincial governments, KP and Sindh provincial governments. We have both district committees and provincial committees. Consist of provincial and district officials, DHOs, provincial health ministry. We actually select those districts with the help of officials of Pakistan.
Okay, well, that's good.
And in addition, as Mujahid mentioned, in addition to that, when the study was going on, basically it's a big theme on the back of this whole project.
Right.
Before launching this project, the team arrived from Turkey, team arrived from Jeddah, team arrived from even the Pakistani official, all stakeholders, they sit together, they went for a certain kind of basic assessment, and they visited some of the districts, and 4 parts were considered to select these all districts from the Pakistan. The major thing was the poverty index. What's the poverty index of that particular district?
So important.
Yes, exactly. Then it was the second one was just to find the accessibility of that, whether the people can find some government infrastructure regarding the hospitals, BHUs, or something like that. And the third one was whether this area is suitable for such mobile clinic. It's a huge convoy. It's a huge traffic. Like in Pakistan, normally we use 40 feet of trucks. 40 feet. Normally, the maximum size of the container is
40 feet.
40 feet.
Right.
But it's 50 feet long, and even the width is more than the standard width which is being used in Pakistan.
Okay.
So it's also it's a big challenge for Pakistan to approach some of this area. We are interested in even in GB. We are interested in AJK. We are interested in some other hilly areas which is even the people are in more deprived condition.
Right.
But again, we are thinking over that how to challenge, how to counter this challenge, and to reach the people with the help of this one. So poverty index and the assessment, the road assessment, and the availability of the facilities, whether it's available in that, and all components were considered before selection of these districts. And yes, as Mujahid mentioned, the government stakeholders, they all recommendation and their advices were always we consider that, and based on that we selected these 4 districts.
That's brilliant. But here's the thing, this is a very basic question, but I feel like it needs to be out there as well for people to understand the type of services that you're providing, the quality of people that are working with you. What incentives are you guys offering to the doctors to come on board on these mobile units and, you know, go to these far-flung areas and treat the people in need?
And does it get a little difficult to convince the doctors to as well to take them out of their clinics and then?
Absolutely. I think you raise a very important question, particularly in remote areas where the doctors and nurses and even paramedic staff they are reluctant even to work in that. It's a challenge. Being a head of support of the organization, I'm facing the same challenge. Yes, exactly. But again, as you mentioned, basically the organization is providing the such type of incentive to the doctors and paramedical staff, and the main thing is the sense of ownership of that they are serving for the people of their own motherland. They are serving for the people for which they took oath to be to serve for the nation.
Exactly.
And honestly speaking, in the beginning, we were facing such challenge, but now we have number of people who are waiting for such opportunity to serve for these. I have a database of such. Even we have volunteers in our row. We have the database of the volunteers also. I'm so happy. I'm glad.
Why don't you smile when you are happy? You should smile too as well.
Exactly. We are providing them pick and drop from their home to their to the offices.
So every facility is being provided.
Yeah, boarding, lodging, even whatever they feel comfortable. They feel comfortable at the job site. We provide them.
I think that's great. That's great. And I know that Mr. Ghulam Muhyiddin Saab is equally excited as we are as well. But I think Shizaj, that you've actually asked a question from the doctor's perspective, but I now want to ask Mr. Mujahid over here from the communities, how are the communities actually responding to such an intervention? Are they very welcoming, or are they like, probably we don't know whether the doctors are good enough or not? So how are the communities responding?
It is actually a unique project, unique service which we are providing in those areas. Actually, we were not expecting, such high level acceptance from the communities. We actually are surprised by that, but honestly speaking, we got tremendous response from the communities. Actually, I will come to that, but I want to also tell this now. Usually, we put our clinics in one place for 3 months. So when we move to another district, another place, so they usually want us to stay longer than 3 months. So people are welcoming us wherever we go. So this is actually, makes us very happy.
Wow.
Of course, helping people does make people happy as well. But when we're talking about such an intervention, Shahzad, this is humanitarian, right? While of course there are some limited resources, but you really have to think with a humanly mind to how to deal with all of this.
Yeah, just like mine.
Exactly. The point of saying this is there must be some objective for you guys to reach. There must be a certain number for you guys to reach in terms of this is what we need to do by the end of phase 1. For example, are you guys looking for, let's say we'll treat 85 people, but the 86th person, well, he can do whatever he wants to because we just want you to treat 85. So is there such a thing that we're looking on to?
Yes, actually now in our mobile clinics, more than 75,000 patients have been treated so far. Yes.
With the help of 8 mobile clinics only?
Yes, 8 mobile clinics. Yes. To be specific, out of these numbers, nearly 27,000 was children, 34,000 female, and 16,000 male. As you can realize that majority of the patients is female. Inshallah, yeah, normally our target was to reach 840,000 patients, to reach this number of patients by the end of the project. But you know, we actually receive patients every day beyond our expectations.
Right.
So now probably we will reach 1 million patients,
Wow.
inshallah, by the end of the
Inshallah.
projects through our mobile clinics.
Wow,
And that's great. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, I think that for me to know that that there are people in remote areas who are ill and now they're recovering, and I think that it's a very good feeling as well.
Exactly.
But since we are very short on time, so there's one last thing which I would want to ask, and that is, what would be the exit strategy? I mean, imagine, so the mobile clinics came in, they went, they treated people, and now they go back again. So, you know, what happens, you know, because the treatment needs to continue, the clinics need to be there for people. This is something which we realize now, because the number of patients was tremendously higher than what we thought. So how are we going to exit with this program and then come back with a better one?
Yes, the actually initial duration of the project is 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the first phase of the project, as brother Mr. Gulamuddin also explained, that after 5 years, inshallah, after we complete 5 years, we actually those mobile clinics and project will be handed over to government of Pakistan, along with all infrastructure we built and developed, and database of patients and all medical equipments. So that they can continue to provide these health services to needy people of Pakistan.
Wow,
Okay,
that's brilliant.
that's
So
great.
very quickly, before we wrap up this segment, there's one more thing, and that is, since these are mobile clinics and they go different places, and there's a lot of dust and there's a lot of problem, a lot of people do not wash hands in those areas as well. So how do we look after the hygiene? Or do we sterilize the entire clinic? How does that work? Because I think that's something really to worry about as well.
Yeah, Shehzad, I think you mentioned this very important area. Normally, but we have very strict SOPs on that. We have operational manual and they follow this SOP. We are also considering the importance of this health and hygiene promotion, just to raise the awareness in the people. Because if you go for preemptive measure, even you can reduce the number of patients. You all will agree with it. As Mujahid mentioned, that this about this database. This database will also help the government even to build some policies about the particular for the particular district and particular areas, such type of diseases or such type of symptoms that the people are facing over there. So this will also be helpful for the government as well. Yes.
And that's great. So thank you
you
very
so
much,
much.
gentlemen, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you
Thank
today.
you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we spoke about how some physically vulnerable segment of the society needs some sort of intervention, right? And this is what it is, Pakistan Mobile Clinic. But when we're talking about these segments as well, Shahzad, women and elder people actually can communicate what is going on with them. Of course, while they are physically vulnerable, but at least they can, you know, tell some persons what is wrong with them and everything. But in terms of children with such a weak immunity system as well, and no way to communicate what they might be feeling and what not, I feel like they are the most vulnerable, and we need to talk about them in detail, specifically.
Exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, before we go towards a short break, there's this one small thing which I would rather love to say it in Urdu, कि ख़वातीनो हज़रात, पाकिस्तान मोबाइल क्लिनिक का आगाज़ किया जा चुका है पिछले साल से। खैबर पख्तूनख्वा के 4 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में और सिंध के 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में ये मोबाइल क्लिनिक्स जा रहे हैं और लोगों को इलाज मुहैया कर रहे हैं। अगर आपका ताल्लुक भी इन्हीं किसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के साथ है, तो प्लीज़ कोशिश कीजिए कि आप इनका नंबर इंटरनेट से ढूंढ लीजिए, और आप इनको बता भी सकते हैं। तो whenever they are there, प्लीज मेक श्योर कि आप जाइए और अपना इलाज करवाइए और तंदुरुस्त रहिए।
Heading out to a very short break. Stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi, where today we have taken up the responsibility to inform all of you out there how to stay healthy and how actually Pakistan is, providing facilities for all the downtrodden segments of the society in far-flung areas of Pakistan where there are no, medical facilities.
Exactly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, within this segment, we're actually going to talk about toddlers, infants, and yes, since the weather is very tricky these days as well, so a lot of kids do fall ill. And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that they keep on, getting ill. So one day you go to the doctor, you'll get them treated.
Right.
And, come back after a month's time, that the kid is ill again. So why does that happen? Why is it recurring as well? So I think that these are something which we need to talk about. There are a lot of common myths about kids too as well, falling ill. And, then there are common treatments available within every household, which every mother needs to kind of experiment on their babies too as well. Whether we should be doing it or not is something we want to discuss today, ladies and gentlemen. Without any further ado, we have a pediatrician child specialist over here in the program with us. He's none other than Dr. Junaid Jahangir Saab. Hello sir, Assalamu Alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum Salam, I'm good, how are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us, and this is for the very first time that I've actually met a pediatrician child specialist who himself looks like a child. And I think that's a compliment. But sir, to get started,
so I take it as a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment. But to get started, sir, what I wanted to ask was, what are the most common problems infants and toddlers come across these days?
No, you can see this is a winter season. So in winter season, we get the viral infections. They are more common, like upper respiratory tract infections, the flu, the common cold, the bronchiolitis, and of course the pneumonias. They are coming more in this season.
Yeah, of course. So these are some of the very commonly occurring, issues that children face. But let's take on them one by one. Speaking of pneumonia, a lot of parents I see refrain from showering their babies, or like they keep them fully covered in terms of 5 or 6 sweaters and blankets, whatnot, just because they're more vulnerable to pneumonia. Is this true? Are they more vulnerable to pneumonia, and should they be showering or not?
So well, this is very common practice, and rather I can say it's a malpractice that people have a belief that if they will not give the shower to the babies, so they can prevent pneumonia. Actually, it's not like this.
Okay.
The health is in cleanliness.
Yes, of course.
If a baby is not clean, he is vulnerable to get infections. In peripheries, this is a very common myth that taking a bath will lead to pneumonia. And once a parents came to me and they said that just look at this baby, he's crying.
Yeah.
So baby was about 5 months old.
Okay.
So when I examined the baby, I found everything fine. He don't have any physical problem at that time.
Yeah.
But he had a bad smell.
Okay.
So when I asked them, when did you give the last shower? They said at birth.
No way. I
They
don't
did not give
that.
the shower for the last 5 months, and of course the baby had a bad smell, and he was shouting and he was crying due to the irritation he had in the body. So practices like these are very common, and I must say it to all the parents that please don't be afraid of giving shower to the baby.
Okay.
It has nothing to do in causing pneumonia. Rather, pneumonia is caused by a weak immunity system.
Okay.
It is caused by bacterial infections. It can be
contamination.
caused by viral infections.
Right. Yes.
It's very common in the daycare centers. If in the daycare center, the kids, they are always overcrowded. So if one of them is having an infection, he can spread to the others.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is caused by lack of immunization.
Oh,
Still, there are many areas in Pakistan where people have myths about vaccination. They don't vaccinate their kids, and ultimately they are a victim of pneumonias.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that. But I think, sir, that I've got a very important question for you, and it's because of the fact that half of the time parents who are relatively new at parenting, they don't know what's wrong with their baby. If there's a baby who's 5 months old, 6 months old, 9 months old for that matter, the baby cannot speak, but the baby is crying all night, and they are unable to figure out the problem their baby might be going through. How do you think that anybody can actually get to know at that point of time that this might be wrong with the baby?
Right.
Okay. So this is more common in the children less than 1 year old, which we call them infants.
Yep.
There are certain clues for that, because obviously the baby will not tell what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So the parents need to see, first of all, the temperature of the body. fever is a common cause of excessive crying, and most of the times parents don't know that their child is having fever.
Okay.
Number 2, ear pain is another common cause of crying in infancy.
Yeah.
Number 3, nappy rash.
Okay.
Okay.
And number 4, the tummy pain.
Yes.
So these are 4 major common causes of excessive crying. There are a list of other disorders. If you check our book, there is a long list of causes.
Okay.
But these are the common causes. And often I have seen that in girls, the urinary tract infections, a silently going urinary tract infection can also lead to excessive crying in this age.
Oh,
All right. So let's talk about it. So, you know, for example, if, you know, the baby's got the ear pain or the tummy pain or the nappy rash, what should we do at that point of time to calm the baby down?
So, you know, before going to the doctor, the parents can give simple Panadol at home to their kids, or ibuprofen, which comes with the name of Brufen. These are the simple measures which parents can give to their baby as a first aid, and they must check the temperature of the body. Sometimes I have seen that parents have, you know, covered the child a lot with 6 or 7 sweaters, and they're also having a heater in the room, and they're also giving a blanket and a quilt to the kid.
Right.
So just remember that excess of everything is bad.
Yep.
Of
You know,
course.
in winter season, you need to cover the baby, but not to the extent that he feels irritated and he's getting sweating and he's, you know, he's crying due to the overheating of the room.
Place, yeah.
Okay. Okay, but you know, just a while ago you mentioned how daycare centers are actually a main hub of catching all sorts of diseases. And same goes with schools in terms of toddlers as well. So for children or for babies or toddlers who do go to such public places as well, how can parents make sure they do not catch any sort of, you know, viral thingies going on over there, any sort of communicable diseases from that place?
Yeah. Actually, it is the responsibility of the parents and the daycare center administration both.
Okay.
You know, if parents see that their child is not well, he's having a cough or flu, or he's having some type of rash on the body,
Right.
they should have a moral courage not to send that baby to the daycare so that the others may not get it.
It's common decency. I got actually chickenpox from someone in my classroom. Imagine
Yes.
that.
Same happens in the classroom. And in people who are in the periphery as well as in the cities, tuberculosis is also very common, and tuberculosis is also a contagious disease, you know.
Oh,
Is it a communicable disease?
Yes, it is a communicable disease. I remember once a child comes to us, we had a suspicion of tuberculosis.
Okay.
So whenever we have a patient of tuberculosis, we always trace the path from where it came. So we traced the whole family, we checked the whole family, the siblings, we did not find any cause. And then suddenly we came to know that the driver of the van in which the child used to come in the school
Right.
coughs daily in the car.
Oh, no.
And when we tested the driver was a positive case of tuberculosis, and from the driver's coughing, the child got tuberculosis. So we need to have a good eye on everybody around the kids, the maids, the drivers, the household workers, the daycare centers, the siblings, and the friends in the classroom. Everybody, you know, is a source of infection.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that. But there's one more common problem, ladies and gentlemen. And if the baby is born as cute as I was, so people quite a lot of times what they try to do is they try to kiss the baby a lot.
Yeah.
You know, on the cheeks, on the foreheads, everywhere, you know, because everybody finds babies cute. And then later on, you know, I have seen that there have been multiple cases where babies have developed eczema on their skin,
Right.
or they
Rashes,
might
all
have
sorts of.
got through, you know, other problems or diseases as well. How do you think, what is the best way to stop other people from kissing any other baby yet? And you know, it's just not all right to kiss anybody's baby.
And people
Come
mind.
on.
If you stop them from doing that, people
Oh,
actually
baby.
mind.
Come on, man.
Yes, it's a very common problem. In fact, my own son had the same problem when he was an infant.
Okay.
You know, it's a courtesy that, you know, you can't say them that please don't kiss my child.
Yeah.
You know. But it's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
Like my son had an eczema in that age due to overkissing of everyone around him, but it was temporary. With the passage of time, it vanished.
But I think it needs to be stopped too as well. I mean, even if it was temporary, the child was ill. The child had eczema.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
had-
we do
he had
not
a
want our
problem,
babies to
you
get
know.
eczema.
Yes. Again, you have to make a request to the to the parents, to the
साढ़े बच्चे
family
तो ना
members.
चुम्मो बाकी खैर बाकी तुम जो मर्जी करो.
All right, so here's the thing for babies who are growing up before the age of 1 is that when they grow teeth, right?
Yeah.
It's a very bothersome phase for them. I mean, they're always crying and allergic to things because, of course, that's the pain they cannot explain to someone that they're going through. So, what are some of the remedies that parents can use to reduce the pain, first of all? And what should they be doing to make the process faster so that the baby can be in relief?
During teething?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as far as the teething is concerned, again, there are certain myths in teething.
Okay.
You know, people believe that when a child is having teething, he must be having motions, loose
Right,
motions,
yeah.
diarrhea.
Is he supposed to?
No,
Okay.
there is no scientific evidence in it. However, it is indirectly linked with the loose motions. You know what happens when a child is having teething? He feels irritable, like
Okay.
he feels like eating, and he
Or
feels like
chewing on some,
chewing,
nibbling
and
it.
he feels
Yeah.
like putting things in the mouth, right? So, whatever child sees in his or her room,
Yeah.
he used to take it and put it in the mouth.
Right.
And actually, the germs with those things, maybe toys, maybe some household things, actually those germs, they cause loose motions and diarrhea.
Oh, that
So
makes
people think
sense.
that it is the teething which is causing diarrhea.
Alright.
It's not that like this.
Alright.
It's the germs which are causing diarrhea. So coming to your question, that what should be done? There are certain soothing drops
Okay.
which can be given, which are applied at the gums, so that makes the
Can
child.
you name those drops as well?
Yes, they come with the Dolty, one with the Woodward's Dolty drops. They're
Woodward's
very
Dolty.
useful. I've used in my practice. They're very useful. The parents can take them from any pharmacy, and then they can apply on the gums of the child, and it gives really a soothing effect.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
that's great. Thank you very much, doctor.
Some people also give grape water
Okay.
to the kids, but I have found these drops very useful.
I think that's great. And is there anything we are missing out on?
Actually, I want you to give out a message to all the young parents over there, especially because lately we're into nuclear family systems as well, right? Earlier, nannies and dadis used to tell, right, how to treat your children and everything. So, your message to all the young parents out there who might be dealing with all the common problems related to infants, how to deal with all of this. Please go ahead.
I will give a message to all the parents that please don't be panic when your child is ill, especially to the mother and father of the first baby. You know, first baby is always, you know, it's troublesome. The parents don't know how to deal with this baby.
He's
It's
the
a new thing
experimental
in their
one.
life. So I just want to say that don't believe in the myths. I have seen many kids, you know, getting their problem worse just because of applying the totkas and applying the advice of nani or dadi, phupi, chachi. So always look into your child, what is actually wrong with the child,
Yeah.
and go scientifically, and go to a proper pediatrician, a proper child specialist, anybody near your home,
Right.
and don't believe in the myths and don't believe in the desi totkas. So that will ultimately improve the health and overall grooming of your kids.
Exactly.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, sir, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you. And the conversation is very, it had a very positive vibe to it, because we want everybody's babies to be fine, ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen. Not just that, even in the previous segment, we wanted the elderly, we wanted the women to be fine. मर्द हाँ वो तो ठीक ही रहता है यार, उसको क्या होना है? Come
No,
on.
I feel like this was informative for a lot of people out there, regardless of the gender, Shazad. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you learned something. My message, I don't think if it's a message or not, but for all the parents out there, I want you guys to be a little responsible. If you feel like your kid is developing some sort of a disease or a cough, even if a cough or something viral, please refrain them from sending them to school or any sort of public places, because then a lot of other children will be catching those diseases and germs as well, and you don't want that. So please be
Exactly.
responsible.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shiza, for saying that as well. And one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, which I've observed over the years, and that is that, you know, if you look after the hygiene and the cleanliness of your own self and your baby and the place you're living at, I think that you are actually going to, you know, reduce the
Oh,
illness
yes.
by 50%
Most
all of a
definitely.
sudden. So yeah, please make sure that you keep your baby clean. I mean, it shouldn't be the way, as Dr. Saab just said, that, you know, that they came in a baby and he only had a shower when he was born, and 5 months later he was with the doctor, and the doctor Saab could actually smell the baby too as
Imagine
well, and
that.
it smelled bad as well. And now my producer is like, okay, bus, time bot come. So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of,
Well, this morning,
on your television screens, on YouTube,
it's B2B World.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
on Daily Motion.
I think it's well this morning, yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the Fabulous Repeat is going to be at
11 p.m. tonight.
Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning.